Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. My name is Puan Siti Hawa Radin Eksan from Universiti Islam Selangor. Today I will present to our entitled Enhancing our study entitled Enhancing Islamic Finance Integrity, the correlation between halal audit knowledge and microcredit performance. So as you can see in the slide, in recent year, the Islamic finance industry has expanded rapidly with global Islamic finance asset surpassing about 5 trillion US dollar in 2024. So this growth highlight the importance of strong Sharia governance to safeguard compliance, institutions, integrity and product confidence. So in Malaysia, as a leading Islamic finance hub, Bank Negara Malaysia has institutionalized comprehensive Syariah governance frameworks. So this includes Syariah risk management, review and audit functions that operate together to ensure the financial operation are aligned with Islamic principle. So within the context, microcredits play a crucial role in promoting financial inclusions, but is also tightly linked to Syariah risks, operational complexity and client trust. So therefore, the halal audit knowledge to offer who manage microcredit product become a key factors in protecting Sharia compliance and promote performance at the operational level. So although there is a growing body in literature review of Sharia governance and performance. More study focus on governance structure at the institutional or board level. So evidence and specifies examines halal audit knowledge among microcredit officers and how this knowledge affected microcredit performance remains limited. So, a recent study in Malaysia also revealed challenges in implementing Sharia audit, such as variations in audit practices, limited auditor competencies, and an absence of standard audit scope and governance integrations. So, these issues are especially critical in microcredit, where daily decision and frontline practice directly influence compliance and clients' outcomes. Therefore, there is a clear gap in understanding the role of halal audit knowledge and operational level of microcredit activities, particularly how in link to performance indicator like compliance, risk management, and client trust. So, so the research objective and question. So this study was designed to address the gap with three main objectives. The first one is to assess the level of halal audit knowledge among officers involved in microcredit operations. Second, to examine the relationship between halal audit knowledge and microcredit performance. Third, to evaluate the predictive effect eh, um, of halal audit knowledge on microcredit performance indicator, namely compliance risks, risk management, and also client trust. So, in line with this objective, our central objective is to does this objective does halal audit knowledge significantly influence microcredit performance within Islamic financial institution? So existing literature review of Sharia governance consistent show that effective governance structure enhance both organizational performance and the quality compliance in Islamic financial institution. So, however, there is many study emphasize the micro level such as Sharia committees and board oversight rather than micro level or operational level. Okay, so at the same time, research on Sharia audit implementation in Malaysian sector reveals that practice can be fragmented, with the need of strengthened auditor competency and standardized audit scope and integration with governance framework. So this observation suggests the strengthening human capital and technical knowledge in Sharia audit is essential for improving governance outcomes. So in Islamic microfinance, more recent study highlight the importance of governance, sustainability, and ethical accountability for institution resilience on and performance. However, they still provide limited empirical evidence on how specific competencies such as halal audit knowledge among officers shape microcredit decision making and performance outcome. So based on this literature, our concept from framework is straightforward. Yeah, we focus on one main independent variable and one dependent variables. So the independent variable is halal audit knowledge, which refers to the officer understanding of Sharia principle, audit procedure, and compliance requirement relevant to microcredit operation. The dependent variable is microcredit performance, which is the study covers aspects such as Sharia compliance practice, risk management, quality, and client trust. So our own main objective, our main hypothesis is the halal audit knowledge has a positive significant relationship with microcredit performance. So in other words, we expect that a higher level of audit knowledge among officer will be associated with better microfinance performance, particularly in terms of compliance is risk management. So in terms of methodology, so to test the idea, we adapt a quantitative research design and conducted a pilot study. So the pilot study was carried out within the Islamic financial institutions that offers microcredit product. Okay. So we collected data from 16 respondents who were directly involved in microcredit operations. So these all respondents included officers, senior officers, and managers who handle microcredit products, assess client, and oversee day-to-day operations. So the structured questionnaire has used to measure both halal audit knowledge and microcredit performance. So the instrument was designed to capture respondent perceived level of knowledge that their perceptions of performance related to Sharia compliance, risk management, and client trust. As for analysis, we have destructive statistic reliability analysis using Comrade Alpha and two main technique, Pearson correlation and regression analysis. So because this is the pilot study, so the main aim is to test the reliability of the instrument and provide preliminary empirical insight that will guide the larger study in the future. So this is the respondent profile. As you can see here, in terms of position, the majority were at the officer and the executive level, accounting for 62.5% of the sample. Senior officer, and assistant manager represent 25%, while manager or head constituent 12.5%. Okay. Most respondent has substantial experience in banking industry. About 81.3% had more than 10 years of bank experience, indicating a very experienced group of officer. So with regard of experience in the microcredit department, more than half, especially 56.3%, had over 6 years of experience in microcredit. So this suggests that the correspondent are not only experienced in banking generally, but also in microcredit operation specifically. So in terms of educational level, the majority 68.8% held a bachelor degree and 25% had a master degree. So this shows that respondents are academically and capability of understanding the technical aspect of Sharia compliance and audit. So finally, the respect of formal training in Sharia or halal audit, 81.3% of respondents reported that they had received formal training while 18.8% had not. So this indicate that most officers had direct exposure to Sharia compliance and audit procedure where is important for interpreting their response to audit knowledge. So I will now highlight the key finding in our analysis. The first one, the reliability using Chromebook Alpha shows excellence internal consistent for the construct of our questionnaire. So this means that the item used to measure halal audit knowledge and microcredit performance are stable and consistent for this pilot sample. Second, the Pearson correlation analysis revealed a very strong and significant positive relation between halal audit knowledge and microcredit performance. So in practical terms, officer who reported higher level of halal audit knowledge also tend to report better performance in areas such as compliance, risk management, and client trust. So the third one, the regression analysts confirm that halal audit knowledge is a strong and significant predictor of microcredit performance. The model suggests that increases in audit knowledge contribute meaningful to explaining variation in performance, even in a small pilot sample. So taken together, these results support our hypothesis that halal audit knowledge play an important role in shaping microcredit performance with Islamic financial institutions. So this finding carries several important implications. So the strong and significant relationship between halal audit knowledge and credit performance suggests the officer knowledge is not just about to support factors, but also a key driver to Sharia compliance performance. So officer who understand Sharia principle, audit, procedure and compliance requirement are better positioned in identify potential non-compliant issue and to manage risks in microcredit operations. So the demographic profile shows that many respondents are highly experienced and have received formal training. So which may partly explain the strong relationship between knowledge and performance. So this highlight the value of the continuous learning and structured training in building human capital for microcredit finance. In our result also align with the broader literature that emphasize the importance of governance and ethical accountability in Islamic microfinance, but they add a more specific and line by focusing on halal audit knowledge at the officer level. So this suggests that strengthening Sharia audit knowledge among frontline staff can reinforce the overall integrity and effectiveness in Islamic microcredit. So here the implication and the practice and policy for practice and policy. From the practice perspective, the finding indicate that manager Islamic financial institutions should practice the development of halal audit knowledge among officers involved in microcredit. So this can be achieved through structured training programs, regular refresher courses, and monitoring the focus on applied Sharia audit and risk management. So institutions can also embed halal audit knowledge into their standard operating procedure, performance evaluating system, and key performance indicator for microcredit staff. So this will help ensure that compliance is not treated as one of activity but as integral part of daily operation. So for regulator, and policymaker, the study suggests that value of incorporation more explicit competence requirement related to halal audit and Sharia governance framework for microfinance operations by setting a clearer expectation for audit knowledge at the officer level. A regulator can support more consistent and effective implementation of Sharia governance and microcredit sectors. So this is some limitation and future studies. And this is the last slide. So as a pilot study, our research has several limitations, but that we have acknowledged. So first, the sample size is small, with the 16 respondents from the single institution. So this means that the finding cannot be generalized as wider Islamic microfinance sector and should be interpreted in preliminary evidence. And so the second one, so the study focus on one institutions and one group of officers. So it may capture differences in organization, culture, governance structure, or market condition across other institutions. And the third one, limitations is the study relies on self-report measure, which may be subject to response bias. Future research can completely survey data with a qualitative interview. So direct performance indicator or case studies to gain deeper insight into how halal audit knowledge is applied in practice. So for future work, we plan to extend this research in larger, more representative sample across multiple institutions. So we also intended to examine additional factors such as organizational culture, technology support, and Sharia committee oversight that may interact with halal audit knowledge to influence microcredit performance. So to include this study provides very empirical evidence that halal audit knowledge has a strong and significant relationship with the credit performance within Islamic financial institution. So the finding indicate that the strengthening officer audit knowledge and can enhance Sharia compliance, reduce risk, and support better operational performance. So in Islamic microcredit. So we hope that this will contribute to ongoing discussion in Sharia governance and provide useful input for developing more effective governance framework in Islamic finance. So if you have any question or would like to ask the discussion potential conversation, please feel free to contact me or email to the address shows in the slide. Thank you very much for your attention.